Here we are. There we go. Welcome to another Virtual Water Cooler Live. I'm Steve Wright, and he is Mr. Whiskey.
Mr. Whiskey. In fact, we almost had matching shirts on. I was drying my tan brown Thanksgiving colored fall colored turtleneck
Mhm.
sweater to be appropriate to the holiday season happening here in the United States,
Yeah.
starting technically today at 12 o'clock for most people. But it didn't dry in time, and I didn't want to wear a wet sweater the whole Restream event. It's the water cooler, but that doesn't mean I should be underwater the whole
Yeah, or
time. And
or or
so
freezing cold.
right, and so
In a
I
damp
put on a
shirt.
green and gray flannel, not identical to yours, but similar in style,
Mm,
which was also fall themed. But I decided to go with it looks like a denim top, but it's
yeah,
not denim. Thank
there you
goodness.
go. There you go.
I only wear the only denim article I wear is my denim underwear.
Okay.
You've ever
So
have you ever worn a pair of those, Steve?
I no, I can honestly say I have not worn a pair of
No, I haven't either.
denim
I
underwear
don't think those
during
would pass the Shark Tank product pitch.
no.
I'm
But
not sure what target market is out there looking for those, you could call them Rough Riders, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
we're going down. We're going down rabbit holes in the first 3 minutes. But if you're out there and want to join, if you've got the notification that we've gone live, click on the link in LinkedIn. There's a link
mhm,
in Facebook on the comments, and there's also a link in LinkedIn.
and it's
Yes,
BYODU, bring your own denim underwear. So
bring
make
your
sure you
own,
bring your own
bring
pair.
your
We're
own
not
denim.
providing our own, but we do have some virtual water cooler live Saw Right Coaching branded denim underwear for sale at
Yeah,
sawrightcoaching.com.
yeah. If I get an order, I'll go and make it. It's on demand only. It's only by demand.
Print
But
on demand.
you you had
That's good. That's good.
you alluded to a
Having a
tradition in your
co-host.
household with regards to turkey pardon. You
Yes, yes,
wanna
yes. I
share that
have
with us,
my
please?
co-host for the day. Um, I should have dressed up my dog as a turkey. I think that would have been better, but this Squishmallow turkey works. They
Yeah.
each come with a tag. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, but he is referred to as the pardon turkey.
Okay.
I actually do a whiskey glaze and soak for my turkeys here in my
All
household.
right.
No, I don't
So,
actually make any Thanksgiving
so
food.
are
I
you
I I partake of the eating, not of the cooking. I do
okay?
the desserts. I make desserts. Those are
Are
easy.
you are you eating turkey this year?
I am turkey. My neighbor's making some miscellaneous sides. My youngest sister, who I haven't seen, only seen once or twice in the past 4 years, she's actually stopping by
Oh, good.
to join me on the way to see our mom, who I don't talk to, but she talks to, so she'll go say hi to her.
Fantastic.
And well, my sister, she originally wanted to own her own bakery, and I was gonna re-enlist as a nuclear operator and fund it for her, but then she changed her mind and joined the military. So she is not a bakery person by professional career, but by hobby, she still bakes stuff all the time.
Okay.
Far more. I make brownies, and that's about it. And that is
Mm.
the extent of my current dessert ability. She makes all kinds of different recipes and stuff, and so she will be making something. I'm not sure what. And I think, what do you think, Steve? You're familiar with the Thanksgiving menu to a degree, correct? Have you ever
I
celebrated when you were in the US, or you're through
yeah,
and through Jamaican Britain?
I spent 15 years in the States, so I've had
That
many
doesn't
Thanksgiving.
automatically mean you celebrated Thanksgiving. You could have been like, no, my British heritage demands otherwise.
No, no, it's not. I mean, whatever. You can't avoid it. When in America you do for Thanksgiving, you can't avoid. It's like Halloween. You can't avoid Halloween if you're in the States.
Yeah. You could
It's
put a
hard
big
to
sign in
avoid it.
your yard that says stay away, and that just brings more trick or treaters than not.
There you go, Paul. Good to see you. I do have a I do have a question. I'll stick on the board here. There's like you know something that we can think about. What and who are you thankful for?
Asian women.
Okay.
No, I think on a serious note, I would say on a serious note, Steve, I was thinking about I knew you were gonna ask this question. And if you didn't ask it, I was going to bring it up, which is I'm actually, I want to say I'm thankful for you, Steve, because this is my social outing of the week, and for you hosting this space, and really in a broader sense beyond just Coach Wright, so all right coaching. I think that the podcast space itself, I'm thankful that we have the ability to have independently controlled creative platforms, news platforms, spaces of healing. And my big message is for the holidays is because of the space I work in, is it's one of the highest rates of suicide, depression, anxiety, stress, isolation. So be checking on one another, having those deeper conversations. And if you're someone dealing with that stuff, you're not going to ruin the holidays or be a burden. I think a lot of people fake a smile more than ever during the holidays.
Yeah.
Let's get through the holidays. But then a lot of them don't make it through the holidays. So we need to step up and beyond to communicate with those people that it's okay to still be human during the holidays. You don't have to put on this mask and be this super Christmas spirit person or thankful person. If you're not thankful, that's okay. But communicate with us why, and let's try to work on that together.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great approach. Paul, how are you?
Steve, so good to see you. Happy Wednesday. I know it's probably afternoon for
It's
you,
Wednesday
right?
afternoon here.
Yeah, good to see you, Mr. Whiskey. Have you been
Thank you.
I was laughing because the past like few days they've had the in Hawaii like volleyball is kind of like the state sport, and I saw that they had the SEC championship in Savannah. So I was watching it. I was like, oh, I wonder if
Oh, wow.
Mr. Whiskey's there.
I did not know about that, but Paul, you bring to mind a great point. I'm thankful for women's volleyball. That's my dad's favorite channel on the TV. But more importantly, I'm thankful for tank tops existing, and more thankful for Paul wearing one. If it weren't for tank tops, we wouldn't get the pickleball Paul arms. But if it wasn't for Paul, tank tops would have no purpose. So I'm really thankful for the combination that I was born in a day and age where things lined up where both Paul and tank tops existed at the same time.
Yeah. And pickleball.
He alone
The
keeps all of
trifecta.
Florida safe from hurt. His neighbors are thankful for him because he deters the hurricanes, which keeps their insurance costs lower. Thank you, Paul, for keeping our money in our
Yeah, Paul.
pockets.
That's funny.
So, Paul, what are you actually? Do you have an answer? Do you have an answer to the question?
I feel like I've answered this question so much, and Steve, you and I have talked about this. Like one of my probably the most transformational practice that I've ever done was like practicing gratitude. It's been like I think 4 years daily of like practicing it, writing it. So it's, for me, like Thanksgiving is kind of like a weird thing because it kind of reminds me a lot of like Christmas and the whole like commercialization of these like holidays
Mhm.
where it's like one day out of the year people are like, oh, we're going to be intentional about um being grateful for things and gratitude. But it's like for me, I kind of looked at it as a lifestyle and like a daily thing versus you know
Yeah.
conditional type of thing, if you will.
Mhm.
And my word for this year is unconditional. But I think like to really give a good answer to the question, I've really kind of been thankful for the past, especially I would say like the past maybe 4 or 5 years of my life. It taught me a lot, and a lot of the adversity and obstacles, but just like new experiences. I feel like it taught me a lot about not just life in general, but being able to connect and understand people in a way that I probably didn't before. So being able to look at like adversity and all the obstacles and going back to, because I know you love neuroscience, I
Mhm.
remember when I started practicing gratitude, one of the things that my mentor told me was she's like, gratitude will change your life. And she's like, what it will do more than anything is it'll rewire your brain and change the way that it allows you to kind of see problems and obstacles as kind of like opportunity versus like a problem and something like a lot of people will be like, oh, why me or this or that, when it allows you to kind of just see like, hey, this is an opportunity to learn and grow and all these different things. So I think more than anything, that's probably my answer, other than like, I talk about my aunt all the time and
in
like
pickleball.
mentors and all that type of stuff. Oh, actually, yeah, to kind of go back to the whole pickleball thing. I guess like this year, like I really am thankful for pickleball because it's been a wonderful way to not only like practice my instincts, but I feel really kind of like get out of my head and be more free and just like doing something just for the fun of it and detached from like the competition part or um I talked a lot about how it was my first hobby that I didn't like compete or anything like professionally or competitively to that point. So I'm kind of grateful for a lot of the lessons and things that I've learned from playing pickleball. And it's kind of crazy to think that it's probably been, well, I guess like in total, I've probably been playing for like 6 months, but I really tell people like I've really only been playing for like 2 or 3 months because the time prior to that was like my cousin like making up her own rules and just doing like crazy stuff and all that. But yeah, it's been fun.
I think every person should have at least one physical activity that they enjoy, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with other people. Like, yeah, Coach Wright does his jump roping very effectively and efficiently. You can find that on his Instagram. But I think for me, I really enjoy running more than anything, and I think it's good for everyone to have a physical release. Like I put forward a lot of creative releases through artwork, poetry, writing, speaking. I think that's good, but I think there's just physically and chemically, you need that actual physical release as well to some degree, whatever it may be. And it might just be the shaker weights or jogging or even stretching, even just something physical. I think that's so important. And to
Yeah.
Paul's point, I actually recorded an episode last night. It's not out yet, but it was about holidays. And we spoke about Valentine's Day being commercialized. And, I talked about like really, if you really milked out your relationship, you could have multiple Valentine's Day. You could celebrate the first date day you ever had, the first when you got engaged, when you got married. Now you got 3 anniversaries from that. Oh, and if you didn't kiss on the first date, the first day we kissed, you could make so many Valentine's days. But in general, I think it puts pressure on couples. It isolates singles, and it's just really, I think, not a good holiday. But for me, the biggest thing was separating like Christmas and Easter. I'm very against both of those in the sense that they have such a political religious divide. I don't know which came first, if they were Christian and became pagan. I think they were pagan and became Christian. My thing is like scripturally, Christmas and Easter are both not scripturally backed, and I think that we need to separate Jesus Christ and Santa Claus. And I'm very anti Santa in general. Um, I believe that Christmas could still be a holiday where we give gifts and we bring families together and we have the same holiday spirit. And Santa could still be a marketing tool to a degree. But I think creating a fictitious character that we genuinely believe in is very damaging. People say, oh, it's good for kids to have imagination and believe in something not real. I think it's pretty damaging, and it's very scary that, okay, like I'll use an example. Some people believe that some of history is made up, and I can't entirely blame them and be like, "Oh, you're a conspiracist," because, well, how many of us grew up thinking, if you're a kid listening to this, I'm so sorry. Don't listen. But how many of us grew up right? Most of us believed in Santa at some point or another. Maybe some of us found out sooner or had doubts sooner, but most of us, were raised, unless you weren't raised that way, but most of us were. It's like, okay, so government and society all tricked us into believing about this fictional character to this degree. What else could they lie to us about to keep us indoctrinated or, socially enslaved or, worshiping different people, looking up to idols and idolizing celebrities and all of this stuff? I think it's very bad. What was interesting about that conversation to me was, I want to ask Paul and Steve, both of you. I asked my guest, I said, if you could make up a new holiday, what would it be? And I'll give her answer was National Unplug Day. The internet, social media, everything is shut down the entire day across the world except for national security and stuff like that. But all the TV channels, nothing. All the social media is nothing. Actually go outside. And I furthered it. And I said, we should do that once a month. I said, regardless of holiday, you should do that, in your life, whether it's weekly or monthly. But that was her holiday. So I got to hear y'all.
That's
what y'all would do if you could make a holiday.
well, well before we that's an interesting thing about what holiday would you choose. The Just to circle back in terms of gratitude and Paul picking up on the impact of playing a sport, playing pickup and what it means. I can definitely echo that with regards to having an activity that is who said it? I forgot who said it now. Someone's book said it. That is atelic. It doesn't have an outcome in the future. It doesn't. You're not doing it today to achieve something tomorrow. You're doing it
Mm,
because it's of value in itself. It's intrinsically valuable.
okay.
So people who create things, the creative spaces tend to be atelic. Although sometimes people make their craft for an end goal, but often you're in that creative space or that headspace because you've got the love of the craft, and that can apply to sporting activities. And like I said, you don't have to compete in order to really engage and fully enjoy a sport. I also think that it ties in the other senses that we have, the vestibular, which is our balance, our proprio, proprioception, which is how we relate to things around us, especially in pickleball. Or I mean, I play an instrument on the stage, so being aware of the other musicians as you play, you're not necessarily you're not physically interacting with them, but you are because you're playing your instrument with other people who are playing instruments. So there is a connection that is outside of yourself. So that's really important to have opportunities to connect in those ways. Um, not necessarily physical touch. You could play a sport that is contact based, or so on. And interoception, where you actually, you check on your insides. You when you're
Mm,
playing a sport, you know how far you can stretch. You know how far you should run. You know how quickly you should stop. There's things that you check your body, and having exercises, again, whether it's single sports or activities, or whether it's a competitive or competing sports, you have that internal check on yourself. And
mm.
those, we don't call them senses typically. We think of the traditional five, but those other three are really important, especially as you get older. If you don't have a good sense of balance, you're at risk. If you don't have a good sense of your capacities, then
That's why I wear the hat. It balances me out. I've actually got like an equalizing device in the center here, like a
it
gyrosphere in
it
my
wouldn't
head.
surprise me if that thing is hooked up to the internet
Keeps
in
me
some way.
balanced. But
You
Steve, if people want to be inspired to work out this year, I know a lot. You and I did a great episode about how a lot of people are gonna wait until the new year to start their fitness journey. They're
Yes.
gonna say, "Oh, the holidays, I can't start now. I'm eating and stuff like that." And then you and I discussed a quote. The best time to plant a oak tree was 50 years ago. The second best time is today. If you wait till the
Yeah.
new year, but if you want to be inspired to work out outside of this conversation, I just posted a bunch of pictures of me running shirtless with a log, David Goggins style, and I think it's very inspirational. And if Steve wanted to pull them up, he's more than welcome to. But I think it's super inspiring.
I think I might. I
Um,
think I might. I think I might have to look for it. And then to circle back on the idea.
that's something to be grateful for, to be honest. Those pictures.
Yes.
I mean, I was gonna put them. I might make them a Christmas card. Let me know.
Oh dear.
They're print on demand only.
Yes, very much so. But the concept of choosing well, you had a couple of things there in terms of the
Couple of nukes,
the
yeah.
the, the secularization and the tie in religious events with secular activities, the winter holidays. I saw that transition in the States where it used to be Christmas, and now it's the winter holidays. So to be, I guess, PC, you wish people a happy holiday as opposed to a Merry
Yeah.
Christmas. So, but I don't want to. That's an interesting discussion, and I'm going to park my thoughts on that because I'm reading a really interesting book. The guy that wrote *Sapiens*, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. And
Mm.
what's his name? His name is I didn't have it. It's uh, where is it? I did have it here. Um, Yuval Noah Harari. He wrote *Sapiens* and
Mm.
Homo Deus. Um, Interesting writing. Just in terms of how we look at things, perceive things, and how things are really step changing within the 21st century. What's gone before it is what's gone before, looking back, feels a lot more sort of linear and progressive. What's ahead of us is almost got like a quantum exponential feel to it. You know,
Mm.
the how much we know in the last 10 years versus the last 100 years or 200 years or 500 years. What we believed 500 years ago and what we believe, you know, 10 years ago versus what we will be, what's going to be on our radar 50 years from now. Um, it's very interesting in terms of it's not the traditional progression, and it transcends our life, certainly my lifetime. I'm not going to be in 2100. But
Well,
a child born today will see the 22nd century.
we'll
Right.
see, Steve. They might make some good technology that keeps you living your 12-week years for another
300 and
1,200 12-week years. My thing is, I guarantee you, I would be willing to bet money on statistics if there were any that existed for this, that at least 50%, if not more, of the people who say Merry Christmas are not religiously saying it in a religious sense to be exclusive of anyone's Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or anything like that,
Mhm.
nor do they even believe in God or Christ. Most people who celebrate Christmas are not religious. There are some religious ties that people have tried to bring into the holidays, and I do hate that. Same with Easter. I think the Easter Bunny and Jesus Christ need to be separated. I think Santa Claus and Jesus Christ need to be separated. I think that this it's my biggest complaint is people will celebrate these holidays and then try to make it a Christian holiday, and then won't celebrate actual holidays from the Bible, because they say, well, that's just for the Jewish people. And like I celebrate Purim, the Feast of Esther, which is traditionally a Jewish holiday. And sure, it's about the salvation of the Jewish people when they were going to be all completely wiped out in one day. But the book is a focus on God working in our lives even when we don't acknowledge him. And, the New Testament puts forward, and we've all been the children of God. So whether it was about the salvation of Jewish people or not, ultimately it's about God providing for us. And so most Christians won't celebrate that holiday, quote, because it's a Jewish holiday, but then they'll celebrate these pagan holidays just because they grew up doing it. I know that's one of the difficulties I've had in the dating world talking about long-term relationships, because I do not want my children to partake of Easter or Halloween or Christmas, and that's a very hard bargain for most women. Most young women love Halloween more than anything else. They love Christmas, they love Easter, but for me, I wanna approach the holidays with truth to it, I wanna say, "Look, there's not scriptural," like, I really don't
Mm.
like it, but, yeah, the happy holidays versus Merry Christmas, most people aren't saying Merry Christmas to be religiously exclusive or to
Mm.
be religious in general, and I think the fact that we have gotten to the point in society where it's so sensitive is ridiculous. In fact, I interviewed Danny Johnson, professional comedian, the other day, and he got half of the crowd booed him for a joke he made that they said was racist, and I'll share it here, and y'all be the judge of this, and because I'm Italian, I have personal ties to this. Some woman made a comment, or someone made a comment that he was talking with his hands so much on stage or something, right? And I do it. You don't see it here because I'm cut off, but when
Mm.
I talk and I had the whole camera right, my
Yeah.
hands are always moving. And it's always been a joke that I'm Italian. Of course, I talk with my hands, and I have a whole thing where in boot camp I wasn't allowed to, right? And so Danny Johnson, this comedian, said when someone called him out or made a comment about it while he was on stage or telling the story, he says, quote, "I know, and I'm not even Italian. I can't believe it." And half the crowd booed him and said, "That's racist. That's wrong. That's a stereotype." And the idea that even that it's not. even if it's a stereotype specifically to the Italian race, which I am half of, I think I'm not half of the Italian race. I'm half Italian. Just to make it clear, if there's only one other Italian person left in the world, I hope they're a beautiful
No,
Sicilian
you're not
woman.
the other
But
half to that. Good.
yeah, but that's not even not all stereotypes are bad, and not all stereotypes are false. And like that's one of those things where it doesn't harm the people or is meant to harm the people. It's not like he was making fun of oh, those Italians always talk with those hands. He just referenced that culturally and historically they are just known to talk with their hands more, especially if you go to the Jersey Shore where I grew up at the Italian Jersey Shore. Yeah, there's so I think the whole Merry Christmas is I've seen clips as wild and extreme as people who were putting forward an argument that saying good morning was racist. And that video blew my mind.
Okay.
So we've just come to villainize everything, and it doesn't make sense.
That's interesting because the gesticulation and use and hand movements are not exclusive to Italian, and that in and of itself can be seen as a misappropriated stereotype, and if it's, like I said, if we are by our nature generalizers, distortioners, and deleters, because we can't hold everything. So we will generalize, distort, or delete in order for our brains to handle what's coming at us. So if you meet enough people that use hand movements and enough of them come from a certain part of the world, then your brain may associate that part of the world with that gesture, and that kind of gets you through the day. Now we should always be challenging those stereotypes, because the circumstances and the context change a lot and quickly. And as a black man, stereotypes in my genre are rife. Interestingly enough, I went through a lot of my life without coming against a lot of the things that are stereotypically, aligned to black men, young black men when I was in my 20s, growing up, driving around London, and all those sorts of things. So don't mention my dating there, Mr. Whiskey.
Well, to that point, Steve, one, I assume that all black men eat their donuts with chopsticks because of you. That's number one.
You've only seen one person eat donuts with a chopstick once. That's not.
I think actually you're
the
only black gentleman I've ever seen use chopsticks in my personal life experience to begin with. So, but I would say, I think the issue with some of the black culture stereotypes is that you have a divide among the race itself, where you have some of these celebrities and musicians putting forward that the negative stereotypes, like I'll give an example. My best friend, she's a black woman, and she grew up in a very gated white community, and she has been rejected by black men for being too white, for not being a real black woman. And her brother actually left the family saying, we're just whites cosplaying as black people, or vice versa, because he went and, got women pregnant, got covered in tattoos, got into the gang stuff, went to prison. He said, this is what real black men do. And so I think it's such a shame that some of the celebrity icons in specifically the rapping world, especially the black female rapping world, put forward such sexualization and violence and actually idolize those stereotypes as like, this is who we are. And then on the other hand, you have powerful black men and women in business who give back to the community, who try to fight against those stereotypes. And I think with any race, the biggest enemy to that race are the people within that race that perpetuate and idolize that stereotype, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that. I can't deny that. And it feeds into our need for generalizing, distorting, and deleting.
I feel too like the part of it is just like, Steve, you and I talked, we had a conversation before about like why individuality is so important. And like my whole thing last year with my question that I would always ask myself is like, what do you think? Right? Because it's like a lot of this stuff, like people don't really think and feel the way that they do. It's like a belief or something that they adopt from like other people around them or their parents. That's why like I don't really get into like conflict or arguments with people because it's so easy for me to like diffuse the situation. Like I'll just ask a question, and then when you most people have to think about it before they answer, they're just like, "Oh, I don't even know the answer to that question." But
Mm.
as you were sharing what you shared, really kind of like three things came to mind. Like the part that you were saying about like, everybody says like one day or the new year. I remember when I was training with my mentor, she would always say like she always said this phrase that always kind of stuck with me, and she said, and the kind of context behind the explanation was like she's known for these like world class retreats and all these things, and when we would go and stuff, people would see it on social media and they'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'd love to do that one day. That was part of the reason why like her and I became so close. Was I remember seeing it and I said, wow, this looks amazing, like I'll be at the next one. And then I actually went to the next one, and she looked at me and she said like, so many people tell me like one day, but you have the option to make today like day one. So she's like, instead of one day, just make it day one, and day one on your quest of doing this or that. And the other kind of thought process that I had was, even when we were talking about like how the whole backstory behind like why I even started playing pickleball, it was really tied to the professional nature of my life, where I was working with a lot of like people in that 50 plus age demographic who have a really hard time with change. And in a lot of those conversations, I kind of took a step back and I was like, for a lot of them, this social media thing is kind of like foreign. They don't really know, they haven't really done a lot of this stuff before. So me playing pickleball was kind of like a connection point of like, hey, I'm doing something too that I haven't done before. And it's uncomfortable, and we're kind of like gonna go on this journey together, if you will, like get out of that comfort zone. And I think that what I would say to a lot of people is, going back to the whole sport thing, there's a lot of crossovers between like personal and professional, and everything's so like interconnected. And I talked about this, I want to say a few months ago, about how I really look at connection as figuring out like how to activate people, right? Like, I'm not sure if people notice it, but every time in these conversations, like we'll bring up like one new thing. Like we talked about like dance for like a few episodes ago, maybe like a month ago, for like 5 minutes. And then like that was like the biggest from that like small little like snippet, we got like a phrase that I use all the time, which was going to be my third thing that I bring up, of like invite, don't insist. And I think like when it comes to a lot of these takes that people have, I think the root of conflict is like pressure. And a lot of people don't understand how, and I'm not like attacking you, Mr. Whiskey. I'm just like using this like as an example in like real time so people can see like when you're like a really like passionate person about something, the way that you can come across it applies like pressure to the conversation. So like that's why I talk a lot about like diffusing things and asking questions, because it's like it's hard to have conversations about really complex and like vulnerable things when somebody's like so passionate and they're almost kind of like borderline like pushing their beliefs on you, whereas like it's meant to be more of like a conversation, like a discovery almost, where you're like kind of uncovering like why that person feels that way or this and that, and you're just inviting like, hey, this is my beliefs. And then but a lot of people aren't gonna have the awareness to be like, oh, so fascinating, like why do you think that way, right? To like really facilitate that conversation. And I think that pressure aspect, I mean, even if you look at the whole like sports and pickleball thing, because I started playing mostly like doubles now, and everybody like loves playing with me because I'm not. And Steve, I'm sure you can probably relate, like when you were playing, like when you play with people who are like really competitive and they're all about like winning, if you make a mistake, there's that like pressure, right? Of like, oh, I don't, like, and then as you're playing, it affects the psyche of people. And
Yeah.
that's why I never understood, and this ties over a lot. You're starting to see this now in like a lot of youth sports where my cousins have kids, so like I would go with them to their games and stuff. And it was kind of like a double-edged sword, because on one side I was just like laugh and I'd be like, oh, this is such a beautiful thing. These kids are so like innocent and clueless. They don't know what the heck that they're doing. They're just like doing their own thing. But then like there's that other side where you see the parents who are so like, because they pay a lot of money and all this stuff. Like I get like
They're
why they
wearing their
want to take.
varsity jacket from their high school years.
Well, I get like why they take it so seriously, but what I was saying was like they put so much pressure on the kids,
Mm.
and it takes away the fun aspect, and they don't see how a lot of people just look at it as like sports for like what it is, but there's so much underlying and like
Yeah.
subliminal things that are happening of
Mm.
like that's starting to become a reflection of like they're going to take that into every area of their life and kind
Yeah.
of like question. And I think that's why these conversations are so important, because everything's so interconnected. People just don't understand like how it all weaves together.
Yeah.
And that's why like the root of mastery, I think, is like understanding.
Mhm.
And I laugh at all these people who are like will refer to themselves as like a master coach, this or that, when it's like they don't even understand the concept of what coaching really is at their core, at
Mhm.
its core, and like mentorship and all this stuff. So that's kind of what came up for me.
Yeah.
And
You know what? It's you say that. I mean, you're both young men, and as far as I know, you're not parents yet. Uh, and
I'm
I would
trying to
say,
be. If you're
I don't
wherever that
wanna, I
other
don't
half of
wanna
the
know.
Italian race,
Don't you start.
shameless plug. Gotta do a shameless plug.
um, no, but what you said there about sports, and you go in there as a sort of a third party, a third person looking at the sporting activity, um, versus the actual players, the kids themselves, and the parents. I The one thing that I don't know, I'm proud that I did it, and I would really encourage every parent, mentor for a child or young person to be involved in that person's sporting activity. I coached both my girls soccer, at
Coach Wright.
years. Hey, Will, great to
What's
see
going
you.
on?
Good to see you.
What's going
And
on, gentlemen?
good. and and being involved in their sport in those formative years, the fact that I played soccer at their age, whereas a lot of American parents didn't necessarily grow up with soccer as their sport in school. So sometimes the approach is very much so about the competitive nature of competing in a game. Their paradigm for sport was different to mine as a coach and a parent and a player at that age. I could recount my games as an 11-year-old and how you've seen pictures of it, Mr. Whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
So
bring it up, bring out the
yeah,
picture, pin it for every
it's
reissue.
taken a while to find it. but but I remember playing at that age and the fun it was. So I can relate that to the kids as a coach. And then,
Mm.
part of the time I'm coaching the parents to change that paradigm around sports. It doesn't have to be competitive. The competition and the pressure that you mentioned, Paul, in terms of how we address a question or a problem or a dilemma, we impose pressure that is undue and actually stifles the the interaction that we want to have. And a parent coming to a sporting activity with a young kid, sort of saying, "Okay, Johnny, Julie, do your best. Do your best. Crush them. You've got to get a good result or whatever." That puts on undue pressure in that context for the child to enjoy the sport. And ironically, it's actually counterproductive to actually performing well and actually enjoying the sport. And the metaphors, my daughter now at 29 still plays soccer, right? So for me, it's like, I mean, I love when she shares, the interactions and the games that she's playing on the other side of the world, and a lot of that comes from having that paradigm
Coach
that it's
right.
it's the long game. It's the long game. Simon Sinek talks about this. It's not the winning of the event. It's the willingness to play the game and play the game
Mm,
again and again and again. And if you lose, you learn, you get your lessons, you learn, and you come back into the arena. And the winner allows you to come back as well. We've seen animals don't play fight to subdue their opponent. If two dogs are playing, two puppies are playing, and then one nips too hard, that's a signal that you've pushed the threshold. I won't play with, we won't play again if you continue that. So if that happens in the animal kingdom, then it certainly applies to us when we have these interactions. And bringing it full circle to what you're saying about what Paul was saying about Mr. Whiskey in terms of a passion around a passion around a subject can feel like pressure to the discussion. That's really important. We see that in politics, without being political and going into those sort of areas, but we see that in politics where someone who shouts the loudest is implied to have more quote unquote truth or more commitment. But again, Paul's question is like, why do you think that? Let's get behind the noise and actually ask the question. Um, and again, coming around a circle, the invite. I love that you're taking on that phrase, invite, don't insist, because it gets you a lot more dances. Trust me, if you invite, you get a lot more dances than you would ever get if you insist on the
well, to
dance
bring it
floor.
even more full circle, I talk passionately because I'm Italian. So this just goes back to being Italian. So that's what this
well,
is all
well,
about.
Will's
And
Will's from
yes,
Will's from
while
the
we're on
East Coast.
stereotypes, all Italian guys, half Italian guys are as good looking as me. It's true. But that being said, no, I think another phrase that I've heard for the sporting world, and I think NFL has put a lot of pressure through parents, especially in the football field, but you have those parents who say, well, no son of mine is going to play like that or is going to quit, or, there's some very aggressive parenting. And I think part of it is, as Paul kind of hinted to as well, is you have some of those parents who are trying to live their sports dreams through their children. I mean, we talked about this with me and my siblings being pushed into the military because my mom didn't go, and plenty of people who have gotten into a job or a sport because of the parents and the pressure to talking about individuality. Sometimes parents don't give that to their younger children because they constantly compare them and set the bar with their first children. And so there's that pressure to go. Like, I know my ex-fiance was, hey, I got to go to this college because both my sisters got full rides to these really big colleges. And so I want to go to this art college, but I'm going to have to go to a different, more pristine, expensive university just to be, at that same level of my, sister. So I think there's a lot of pressure. And in my high school, even, Paul, to your point, what we did is there was this game called Foursquare, which was, I don't know if anyone here has
Yeah.
heard of it. Okay, cool. People got so aggressive, like fist fight aggressive over it, that they made a second set of squares for the casual players. So we had to set up a casual court
Yeah.
and an aggressive court because these kids would get into fist fights and so aggressive over this, what was supposed to be a simple game. And I think it translates to everything. I stopped playing video games with my one friend. He was such a sore loser that he would smash furniture, get angry, the accusations that in order to maintain our friendship, we had to not play video games together. And we had a woman on this call actually who said she stopped playing pickleball with her one friend because they were playing
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. Sandra.
So
Sandra. And hi to Sandra. Will, what's your thoughts, bro? What are you thankful for? Who and what are you thankful for? We'll go. I know we've actually questioned the question
yeah,
because Paul rightly said that
yeah.
it's something that uh, for good or for bad, we bring it up around this time of the year, being Thanksgiving in the States tomorrow.
Yeah, and I get it, but we're supposed to be thankful every day, right? We're supposed to be grateful, of course, because and I am. I'm thankful every morning that I'm alive and get to do the things that I'm getting to do right now. So, but I'm thankful for all the wonderful relationships I've been able to build through the last 4 or 5 years through podcasting and,
Yeah.
and everything going on.
You're welcome for one of those. I'm just kidding.
No, I love you, Mr. Whiskey. We get it. But no, it's again, I'm of course, and now everybody's gonna be because of the holiday season, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I've been talking about it a lot where at the beginning of this year, I made a commitment to myself that I was gonna improve my relationship with God, right? That I was gonna
Mm.
just talk
Amen.
some more. I didn't say I was gonna go to church and everything because organized religion is not my thing. But I did say I was gonna have my words every morning and speak with God every morning. And since that, right, things have changed. A lot of opportunities have been arising. Things have changed because of the commitment I've made to myself of I'm going to appreciate every little thing that's happening,
Mm.
all the small things. And Steve, you know everything that's been going on through. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had surgery at the beginning of the year, and now I'm down 120 something pounds.
Wow. Great.
So I'm thankful for everything. I'm thankful every day that I wake up and all these amazing things are happening. So yeah, I'm thankful for everything right now, man. I can't complain. Like there's so many wonderful things that are happening in my life, and of course, everything's not perfect. We have things going on that, but I'm more focused on the positives. Like
Mhm.
the negatives, I can't control those things, right? But I can control how I'm reacting to everything overall and how and what kind of mindset I'm going into everything. So I could go in with being defeated and complain, and work focus on all the bull that's happening, or I can just really appreciate all the positive things and everything that's positive going on and
Yeah.
focus on that and not focus on all the crap that it's just happening. You can't control that.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. I love that. I love that. It's not even the question. It's the approach that your response to the question highlights the benefit of having an approach with regards to it's not a matter of like someone says what and who are you thankful for and you go, well, let me list them. It's really just having that mindset that says that there's so much more to be thankful for than there is to be worried about.
Mhm.
That's not ignoring the things to worry about. That's not ignoring that,
Absolutely.
stuff happens inside your control and outside of your control. Um, but it does inform again the long game. Life is about life is about showing up the 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 best you can to continue playing the game.
Absolutely.
And usually that means engaging with people that also want to play the game, and could get better and learn from and enjoy the journey along the way. And I'm super appreciative of this space. I mean, we've all kind of mentioned that in terms of we're all connected through the medium.
Mhm.
uh, um, so I'm definitely grateful for the medium as
I got
much.
you. The the instance, what is it? Star Trek. They
Yeah.
yeah
The Vulcan salute.
yeah
Yeah, but so the me and it's a medium that carries as much problems as it does solutions. So it's important. It's incumbent on I guess it's incumbent on us as we show up in spaces
Yeah.
to use them for good. And
And with anything, right? There's always gonna be a balance, right? So it's on my timeline, right? Everything that I see is are things that I choose to see, right? Are things that are catered to what I want to see, right? So I make sure that I focus on the content that I'm like, because it's something Gary V had me try it out on Instagram with all these things. And I realized what I search for is what my algorithm is going to feed me.
mm,
So I try to focus on the content that I'm consuming. And I want to focus on content that's inspiring, that's basically the things that I'm wanting to do.
mm,
So I'm realizing more and more that more of my content is positive. It's more geared towards what I'm leaning towards.
Mm.
And so it's up to you what you're consuming.
Yeah.
So if you're busy looking for big booty hoes, it's gonna come across the screen.
You're gonna come off.
But if you're focused more on wanting to learn and seeking knowledge, that's what's gonna come across on your timeline.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Essay Right Coaching on Instagram, couple of nukes, and I don't know Paul's Instagram handle, but
Yeah.
whatever that is. But yeah,
Will
all
Wise.
inspirational
Will
Instagram accounts,
Wise.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also this. That's so. I mean, that's true. That's true. The algorithm will feed you what it sees you. It will reinforce your behavior. It will
Mhm.
amplify. It will amplify what you're about. There's also a part of me is. I mean, we mentioned that the unplug in the holiday that your friend suggested,
Yeah.
Mr. Whiskey, about a global unplug day. I find I found that it's interesting to take your interests out of the echo chamber of social media and
Mm.
test them in the real world. Have the discussions that you are searching for or interested in social media, and bring them to an actual physical space with a conversation with somebody, because it will also inform you what the algorithm is feeding them.
Mm.
And and it's and to have a discussion without the machine in between, without me having to Google everything to reinforce my point, or have them Google things to prove me wrong. Have a conversation away from the platform, because then that one is, it's like learning anything that you learn twice when you teach it.
Mhm.
All right, you learn it, and then if you're going to teach it, you learn it again,
Mm.
at least one more other time. You learn it deeper for sure when you're teaching. So having those, doing your research, querying the platforms, but then taking the conversation to another live person, shows how you can show up real, shows how you can communicate your ideas. You're not just going to give them a link to go
Mm.
find out what you found out. You're going to have to articulate and persuade and
So when's
inform.
the in-person water cooler? Is that what you're hinting at? I
Oh,
think Steve is setting
well,
us up for the in-person water cooler.
Will has some in-person things on his radar.
I've heard about that.
But okay, yes, yeah. My goal is to have a retreat here in the Poconos and have, because it seems to me that a lot of these events, right? A lot of it goes on in Florida and Texas, California.
Hmm.
I just felt that I wanted to do something here in the Poconos and have some East Coast flavor and
100%.
and just have people come and give them an opportunity to network and grow and connect. So yeah, my plan is to have a retreat here in the Poconos, 3 to 4 days. I've already had some wonderful volunteers come to speak, because it's going to be geared towards podcasters and learning how to build and network, and
Mm.
so it's in motion. Plans are in motion.
Do you
I,
have speaker applications on your website or anywhere?
no, not yet. I don't even have a
Okay.
website yet. I have my own person, but I haven't for the retreat. No, not yet. I haven't.
Okay.
We're working on that, on all that.
Okay.
But it was just something. A mutual friend of ours, Yayoi. I know
Mhm.
she's my co-host on Cognitive Cuisine. Check us out on Real Wise TV. So but she had told me about a retreat she went to and the experience she had, and I love going to Podfest and I love that environment, that connection with people and meeting. But it's also a lot of people, right? So I felt like maybe putting something together, maybe 25 to 30 podcasters, we come do this retreat and We have, of course, we have some guest speakers come. I've already had a few volunteers. I love my friends that, and so the plan is to be able to collaborate, learn some things, learn about AI or other different things that are important to podcasters and the shift that we're headed to in podcasting. That we also have sessions where these podcasters get together and collaborate with on episodes. Whatever you create there, that's your content. You do whatever you want with that. And so that's just a bunch of little these are ideas that are coming
Nice.
and working and just it just felt right. It just felt something that I wanted to do. And I'm excited with the response that I'm getting from people who I share this with, like people that I'm close with and I value their opinions. And they're like, yeah, this is something amazing. And can we be a part of it? And I didn't send it to them to get that response. I just really honestly really wanted their opinion.
Mm.
And when they were like, yeah, this is great. How can I be a part of this?
Nice.
And so I'm excited and I'm still working on it. Things are moving forward, progressing forward. So
That's
I've
great.
got a connection for you. She runs the New England Podcasters Meetup. I don't know how often they meet, if it was monthly or bi-monthly, but there is a little New England group in Massachusetts that meets up and
So-
people from Connecticut, New York, and that area meet up. So I'll connect her with you to see if she could bring her crew over to you to collaborate on that, because that would be good.
I will listen. It's open to everyone. I'm going to put it out there. I'm taking 25 to 30 applications and then I've also it's I'm thankful for the fact that I've been blessed to meet so many people and um so I've launched my podcast launch accelerator, and that's to help, and it's geared towards more helping coaches, entrepreneurs, thought leaders who want to get into podcasting but don't know where to start.
Mm.
So I launched my beta course. Of course, I tell Yayoi, and she's like, "Oh, sign me up." Like I didn't tell her so she can. I just told her because she's with my friend, and I was like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing," and she's like, "I need that. Where do I send the money to?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, sign me up." And so so we starting next week. We're launching the program, and me and Yayoi will be working and building this program. And
The Brain to Belly podcast is about time.
well, she has an idea, she has a name for it and everything. I'll wait for her to announce it all, but I'm excited to be able to help my friend do something that she's excited. And as shout out to her because she's also an Amazon bestseller.
Yes, author. She's an authoress now as well.
And she shares a birthday with Steve Wright. And she loves Godzilla. So, I mean, couldn't find it.
It's crazy because she went to Comic-Con and I told her, I said, yo, when you go to Comic-Con, I need you to create content. Like this
Yeah.
doesn't matter how old you are. Because she's like, oh, but listen, I don't care. Share this content. Share what you love to do. You love Comic-Con, you love and we have a great time on our show right now because we're more freestyling now. We're just having more conversations and we actually get to talk about everything we love to do. Right. So we talked about her adventures to Comic-Con and her recent trip to Japan and everything. And so it's just all of this happening and everything that's going on. Again, I am thankful for all these connections and these relationships and being able to help her on the next step to launching her podcast, right? And being able to help her avoid the pitfalls that I had to go through when I launched my podcast. So now,
you know, we talked in a recent Restream event. I guess it was a couple weeks ago. She decided to go to Japan once I left, and I think it was purposeful. But that aside, I had texted her when I was there because we went and got breakfast at a place called Yayoi's in Japan, in Yokosuka. So that was super cool. But speaking of Japan, Steve, I got all the audio files, and the official video of my Japan themed comedy is out now, and I brought the link for you to share with everyone. Watch it live here if you wanted, if everyone
stick it in the comments in LinkedIn. We'll have them share that. That's cool. That's cool. Will, what you shared is really powerful, and it ties in with what Paul's the the synthesizer of the one-liners from impossible to I'm possible, and
Mhm.
from one day to day one. And like your journey for this retreat is not a one day thing anymore. It's a day one. You've already started
Yeah.
that
Paul
journey.
needs to get a shirt that says "One Day" on the top, has a black line, just like the shirt he's wearing, and then on the bottom it says "Day One,"
Day
like
one.
a yeah.
Yeah.
and
So
and and it's been like, even within the last few weeks, right? Because I went to an event, and I connected with someone, and she's a PR person, and she was like, "Okay, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to build?" And I was like, "Well, I want to build this." And she said, "Okay, well, go ahead and build it. Like, go. What are you waiting for? Like,
mm,
are you waiting for us to start building it, and then she like, build as you go?" And it made sense. It's like, okay, yeah, I can build as I go, and I'm lucky that again, Yayoi is I won't, I'm blessed to be able to do it with Yayoi,
yeah.
to have Yayoi be that person to be the first one, and so I'm excited, man. Things are looking up, and I got some other things in the works, and yeah, and hopefully me and my brother Steve link up soon, and
Yeah,
hopefully,
you know, you you got me having some FOMO over here, man. But absolutely, I will share your link, Mr. Whiskey. For this. Well, actually,
Yeah.
I'm
You
gonna
could
watch
share
it
your
first.
screen and we could all watch it together
I'm
right
gonna,
now in live time. That's what you had actually, that's what you said you were gonna do, Steve. I I
okay, all
I
right,
had the
let me
replay on Facebook.
let me.
But Steve, flying
Yep.
to Savannah, Georgia airport, and then you and I can road trip up together to Mr. Otero's event, and we could film it, and we could call that episode when we're driving there, "Are We There Yet?" Not featuring Justin Workman.
For a reference to our
Reference to
dear
Justin
friend
Workman's
Justin Workman. Oh.
podcast. In fact, I'm about to text him right now and say, "Justin Workman, you keep saying one day, it's day one."
You keep saying one day, make it day one. Turn one
Right.
day into
Make it
day
day
one.
one, stay hard.
Day-
But, yeah, no, actually, Paul, to be honest, Paul, I have quoted you on probably the past 5 podcast episodes. I always say my friend Paul likes to say, "Well, why do you feel that way?" So, I am promoting you through my podcast, but I never remember how to say your last name, so I just say, "This guy Paul," and then they think I mean, Paul the apostle, so but,
Paul, that's
I should start saying my friend
fantastic.
Pickleball Paul.
Oh,
They'll know who that means.
No, I think I mean, this has been such a fun episode. I just want to say, well, nice to meet you. I don't think we've met before, and congratulations on your weight loss journey and everything that's going on. I think hearing this conversation, it reminds me of one of the, I guess, rules that I kind of broke when I became an entrepreneur, and that was just everybody always would tell you create for other people, right? Or you create do market research or all these
Mm,
things. I've always created for myself, and my whole through line has been this idea of being the person for others that I wish that I had. And I think that's come across so much in everything that I've done professionally, because you don't you don't battle with that connection piece. When you're talking to people, it's so easy because it's I've already lived it. And it's cool that you get to kind of be that mentor for that person. And it Steve, you were talking about something that, when you were talking about how a lot of people just don't put their stuff out there, for a year, I want to say it's maybe a year and a half, I hosted probably over 700 audio events on LinkedIn, and that kind of
mm.
was the thing that I became known for, that I built my following from zero
That-
to
That's how we
almost.
met.
You're right, yeah. And what was so funny is through those conversations, I was basically just translating the life that I lived offline, and I would bring it online. I remember one of the best events that I had was, I used to do this thing every year. Long story short, my grandma and grandpa were born on the same day. They met on a blind date, and they were exactly 1 year apart. and they passed away like 2 or 3 years after. So every year on their birthday, I would always kind of like do the same thing, just, listen to like music and songs and just like think about memories and write and all these things. And then I just did a post one time like talking about my grandparents, because I say it all the time, like my grandparents are the greatest cheat code that I could have ever like been given, because it allowed me to transcend the generations. And people always ask me like, you're in your 20s, like how in the heck are you working with people? Like I have majority of my clients, I would say, are, I know on my LinkedIn it says 50 plus age demographic, but a lot of my clients are like 70, like 70 plus. Like a lot of them are in their 80s and things like that. So it's been so interesting how that's kind of been the bridge that, and Steve, you and I talked about this, how in kind of like a weird way, one of the reasons why that kind of just stuck with me is like my grandparents are no longer here, but I feel like when I talk to other people in that demographic, in a weird way, it's kind of like I get to visit with them, sort of, because a lot of the stories and things translate. But going back to what you were saying, I wanted to kind of share this story because I don't think people realize, like, when we're talking about pressure and the way that you interact with people. One of my clients who's like in her 80s, when we started working together, like confidence was like such a big issue. And we finally like unpacked what it was. And it stemmed all the way back from like when she was a child and, in sports and stuff, like she was picked last. So I think like that's another thing too, that people just don't realize, that you don't really know how you affect and impact people. And I think for me, more than anything, that's why I'm very mindful of the way that I interact with people, but also just like, I mean, Steve, we talk about it all the time, right? Like a lot of the people that you meet in person that you look up to and all these things, like there's that saying, right? You don't ever meet your heroes, because more often than not, you'll probably be disappointed just
And I
because
did meet Paul in person.
and oh yeah, well that was a funny story.
Oh, you weren't
But
disappointed.
yeah,
I was overwhelmed.
I
Tall,
just
dark,
tell people. I just tell people like I'm the same person. If we meet in person, last year I met over like 300 of my LinkedIn connections in person. It was crazy, and I would always tell them
All
like
that speed dating.
I would always tell them like I'm the same person, online versus in person. I'm just like a lot taller, bigger than my little box on Zoom. But I think that's what it is.
Box isn't big enough for Paul. It's gonna break.
It's
You're gonna have
just
to
like
put him on the solo screen, Steve.
it's just interacting. But no, this has been a fun conversation. Really enjoyed it, and it's just so funny how we talk about like one thing, and you see kind of like how everything's interconnected. Like somebody will bring up one thing, and it kind of triggers something, but then it ties everything together. And I think that's the piece that a lot of people miss, is that a lot of times you're just creating for yourself. And I don't know if anybody on the call can relate, but growing up in Hawaii, like they always would tell us, we're like this, if you look on a map, we're like this one little speck, this tiny little dot on the map.
Yeah.
And
New Jersey too.
Before like social media was ever really a thing, you were really kind of like disconnected from the world, other than the fact that it was a major tourist attraction. And I've probably met like at least one person from every country, just because you see so many different types of people. But I remember like when I was going through things before social media, like I always thought like it was just me, right? And a lot of people have these ideas where they're like, well, I know this will work for me, but like I just don't know if it works. And you don't really find that out until you put it out there. But a lot of times it's just I had this saying that I would share with a lot of my clients, and I would always tell them that the thing that you don't want to share or talk about is probably the thing that'll like completely change your life, because there's probably a lot of people who feel the exact same way. They just they don't have the courage to go first. Like even when you look at movements, right? Like it's so easy for people to like hop on the bandwagon and like support something, but nobody wants to like be the catalyst and the face to like start stuff off. So
Yeah.
I just think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's so cool. We're at the we're over the hour, but so yeah, let's we'll go around and close. I did have that little image was a still. I
You should play the
the
whole
I
video. It's only 3 minutes long, Steve. It's a
I
holiday.
will put the link in there. I'll put the link in there. Although I'll share the link. The video looks good, and the jacket is hot.
Thank
That's a
you.
smoking jacket,
Okay,
bomber jacket you got
it's a
on
play
there.
on words. But for
So
those who haven't seen the jacket, that just came off as you calling me hot. But yeah,
yeah,
the jacket itself has fire on it.
yeah,
Um,
but it's a
yeah,
I
good looking
copy the
jacket
link.
with
I
the
got it. I'm gonna watch.
I bought it for a reason. It's to win the heart of a specific woman who Steve and I both know who I'm talking about, and hopefully it'll do the magic there.
there you go. So as we come for, I'll kick off the close. This has been this is always, like I said, it's always been a big rock in my week. Um, getting this, putting this together, and sometimes it feels like a movement, and I have to show up. I show up regardless, as best I can. I will be away for Christmas, so I will see whether technology allows me to host while I'm away. But if not,
When
then
are
of
you
course,
leaving?
yeah. I leave on the 17th.
Okay, we got time.
Yeah, 17th of December, and I'm out through till the new year.
Where you
Um,
going?
I'm going to see my mum. I'm going to see my mum in Jamaica.
Oh,
So
okay, awesome.
yeah, just check on her and family, and just I don't know much of the island I'll get to see, but
I
He's
hear
already
I
had 3
imagine
Thanksgiving and
where
Christmases
I can
this year
imagine
because
all
he's
that.
doing a 12-week year. So he's in year 4. So this is his 4th Thanksgiving and Christmas this year.
that's very true. It's we're in week in the 12-week program. This is week 9, so we're in the harvest time. Week 10 is yeah, week 9 and 10 are
So Steve
harvest.
is
And
enjoying his period this month.
the periodization is working well, and I mean I'm grateful for that cohort in terms of just having that space, and that accountable action, intensive. So that's really the focus. There is not just compressing activity in condensing things to a timeline that works, but also understanding that you know, you work better when you have the focus. You work better when you have the collaboration. You work better when you have the cohort. I mean, Will's sharing that in terms of his coaching program, and we can all attest to that. I'm super grateful for all of you on this call. And I know that if we met up in a cafe, and we all, I showed up and said, "Oh, let's meet for coffee," the discussion would be just as lively. I can't imagine us being quiet if we were in the same room, sharing a
All wearing our
sharing a meal,
matching denim underwear,
wearing
courtesy of
matching.
Sarai Coaching.
And I would spot you all instantly, and
I had that problem pretty frequently in public.
yes, yeah,
I don't know why, but I was at a cruise security line, and across the whole terminal, someone goes, "That's Mr. Whiskey over there." And I was like, "How did they know?"
But yeah, I really appreciate you for as you celebrate Thanksgiving in the States, and spend it with friends and family. Just
This
be
was my
safe, be
Friendsgiving
thoughtful.
today.
Yeah, be thoughtful. Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving, be thoughtful, be kind, and like I say, give people space. And to what you said, Mr. Whiskey, it's not about being Pollyanna. If you show up, be real. Be real for Thanksgiving. If you got stuff on your mind, on your heart,
Mhm.
find a space and a time and a person, to share that with, because
But don't say Happy
that's
Thanksgiving because
it's
that's racist. So say
that.
Happy Holiday of Gratefulness.
So that's from me. Any closing thoughts, Mr. Whiskey, Will?
I was gonna go last, but you said my name first. So my thing was a one-liner. Paul, feel free to use this. It's inspired by you. I talked about it the other day on my show. You talk about your grandparents being a cheat code for life, and what I spoke about when it comes to it, like all my friends are in their 60s, 70s, 80s. I don't know. I don't get along with these young ruffians that do this whole 6, 7 stuff. I need like adults to talk to. So my thing is, what I shared from my life experience is that our look back is someone else's look ahead. Talking about avoiding it, even will with podcasting, helping people avoid the pitfalls that we, went through. When I started my podcast, I just did it on the flip of a coin. I didn't research first, right? When I made it into a business, I paid all these fees, went through all these things. Turns out, if you're a veteran in Georgia, they were all waived. So I spent hundreds of dollars that I did not need to. So, learning and research stuff with dating, and a lot of the work I do is about providing my look back and the look back of those around me as someone else's look forward. And it's hard. Not everyone is receptive to a look forward. I've worked with teenagers before and young adults, and you can give them some great information. And having been, a child at one point in my life with parents, we're not always receptive to that. But I think as long as we provide that, we can have that. So Paul, your next t-shirt should be a black line with on the top of it, it says look forward, my look forward, and then on the bottom it says your look back.
Yeah.
Or opposite of what I just said. The shirt,
I get the that's a great concept. Look,
Yeah.
my
Or you
look
can make it a
back-
tank top.
My look back, my look back is your look forward.
Paul, I'm gonna see. Well, I'm trying to go to a podcasting event with you. I'm gonna DM you after this pretty soon here. And I think my Christmas gift for you is gonna be a tank top that says "I flexed and the sleeves fell off." I think that's the one I'm going with. That's gonna be the one.
Will close us with some insight.
Oh man,
With some wise words.
Have some
And,
wise.
and see,
wise-
now that you said that, I did release some wise words just a few minutes ago.
Nice.
But listen, I'm thankful for everything that's again going on. I love being able to create content, and the fact that I've been able to discover something that I'm passionate about and love to do, and it's like I wish everyone could feel how I feel when I do the things that I get to do. And that saying about old dogs don't learn new tricks. Like in my 40s, I've learned how to edit video, audio, learned how to publish books, launched the internet radio station, built a production company, now building a coaching program. And none of this was like a vision. It wasn't a thought. Like this wasn't what this is not what when I started podcasting, this isn't what I envisioned. I just did it because I wanted to do a podcast. But it's opened up so much opportunities and blessed me with some wonderful friends. And I'm thankful. And Paul, it was great meeting you. And hopefully we can collaborate, because I've already collaborated with these two guys plenty of times. And so I'm looking forward to us collaborating and doing some stuff as well. So,
well, we're all going to collaborate on a 2026 shirtless calendar photo shoot, because we've all been. Paul got into pickleball. You had your weight loss. I had my attempted weight gain that I lost weight in pursuing gaining weight. And Steve's been jump roping. You can see hula hooping. So we've all been doing a lot of fitness work this year. And I think we should end 2025 by doing a photo shoot of it, which will be next year's Christmas cards.
Okay.
So all four of us.
I'll have to update my AI subscription for that one.
No, yeah, definitely. Well, happy to connect and have a conversation sometime. Steve, before we go, I had this thought that I think would be such a powerful message for those kind of looking back. And I feel like one of the like most powerful lessons that I learned, that I kind of like live my life, is like ask for forgiveness, not permission, because I feel like so many people are waiting for people to give them permission that's never going to come. And there's always going to be like somebody who's sleeping on you and your ability and of what you're capable of. And so many people are just too busy like sleeping on themselves, so it's like there's going to be people sleeping on you. You don't need to sleep on yourself. If you think something is expensive, wait until you get the bill for regret, because that's one that you can't really pay,
Yeah.
you know. So that's what I would
Yeah.
say. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. It was wonderful to be here, and yeah, Steve, I'm excited that you get to spend the holidays with your mom in Jamaica, and you'll have to take some video and just kind
Yeah.
of. I would love to just see what the aftermath was, because I know you said that I don't think her area was affected, but I know that I have a ton of friends who have just been so like their like homes and area where they live in communities have just been like decimated. I would kind
Yeah.
of it'd be interesting to kind of bring that to the forefront and just see if, you know, as a community and a network, see if there's anything that people can do to help or support the people
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And you're
100%.
seeing your favorite daughter. That's awesome, Steve.
100%. Don't say that. I was. We went to the movies. That's another. And if we say it for next week, we went to see Wicked. We went to see Wicked Part Two.
It was bad. It was bad. Don't see it.
I'm
It
not
was
gonna open that. I'm not gonna open that discussion. I
it
loved
was
it,
not
but
good.
I will save that
First one was
for.
better.
I'll save that for another one. But yes, there'll be 3 generations. My daughter's coming will be there as well for Christmas. So, but
Your
to your
favorite one.
point,
Yeah.
Will, to your point, Paul. Yes. Yeah. It's an island. You can't get away from the impact. One part hurts. It all hurts. I mean, communication, transportation, getting things around. But there is a spirit. There's a resilience and a spirit. There's an island energy. You
Yeah,
know.
the same thing with Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it, even with the people off of the island, like there's a connection where
Mm,
like there's a resilience and there's this fighting spirit that that regardless of what they go through, they're not gonna give up.
yeah.
And I've been to Jamaica. I know I know a lot of Jamaicans, so I know their spirit. And again, it's that Caribbean fight in them, and so
Mm,
I, I
absolutely.
can I can imagine the devastation because I know when Maria went through Puerto Rico and they suffered the devastation. It was months,
Mm.
probably like 6 to 8 months before certain parts of the island even got power.
Right. Yeah. We're still. My mom's still struggling with some of that as well. But yes, yeah, definitely. Again, it's sad that other parts of the world, we're such a global community now, but we don't look after ourselves as global. We don't see ourselves as global neighbors. We still think we can be isolated in a world that is so connected. And it's naive to think that
Mm.
what you
And
do
I will be
here
marrying one
doesn't
woman from each
affect me.
country to globally connect and unite all nations.
Good luck with that. On that note,
Ah,
thank you
God
so
bless
much.
you.
Yeah.
Mic drop on there.
Hey,
Check
Mr.
out
Worldwide is
Mr.
already a copyrighted title, so I'll have to be like Mr. Global or something.
to check out Mr. Whit. I will share the YouTube link for Mr.
Yeah.
Whiskey's stand up.
I already got it up. I'm ready to watch. I got
Yeah, I love
it up, ready to watch it.
And if I heard correctly, Steve, you said you would drop a like and comment to help boost it in the algorithm. I did zero promotion for this because I did not want you to see it before we had this event, actually. So I'm going to
okay.
start promoting it now that we've
Oh
watched it
I'm
together.
gonna watch it, critique it, and give feedback. But
Yeah.
again, to Paul's words of wisdom, there it is. You didn't find yourself sleeping on yourself, and you went out there and didn't wait for permission. You took action, and that's a key thing. So many times we think we need permission and we don't.
Mm.
We look to people who we think ought to give us permission, and they don't have to.
So
Um,
Steve's going to go to an open mic tonight and perform comedy on a whim, not waiting for anyone's permission, and he's going to show us the video next week at the Restream event, virtual water cooler.
No. Good idea though, but yeah, that would be
Never know. It
that,
could
that,
Yeah.
happen. Happen.
I did book a private cruise for myself to perform the joke that you made, Steve, that I did not get to do in this performance.
just do a 30-second short of the
Oh
joke.
yeah, I'm gonna do it on a different cruise ship.
And
I booked a private cruise just to film it because I told you I would do it on a cruise ship.
oh, you don't have to just drop a cruise
Well, I already
back down.
paid. It's non-refundable.
Okay, all right, guys, thank you. Will, good to see you, bro. I would definitely want to hear more about the podcast, coaching,
Of course.
and let's catch up. I would love to do a retreat in Jamaica too. So just to a word drop there. This could be day one.
You two are
Day
gonna
one
you two are gonna have a
2026.
1-to-1 thing. It
That
seems
would
like.
be sweet.
Oh, we'll treat.
Handful.
It would be real nice.
Handful, all covered. Just get to the island,
Oh yeah, yeah, oh, yeah.
and
There's plenty of all-inclusive resorts and stuff.
well,
Yeah,
I wouldn't. This wouldn't be a whole inclusive. This would be in a house.
so,
In a
listen,
house.
sounds
It'll
good to
come.
me.
It'll come to us. We
And
don't.
then you and I could perform a comedy deal with your mom live attending.
She would laugh her head off if you come on. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Enjoy your holidays, Thanksgiving.
Same,
And
guys.
like I said, be safe. Take care. All right. All the best, guys.
You too.